I know about the woman who sits and waits for her life to begin. I know about the young girl who sits with her mother, who sits and waits for her father to come. I know about the young woman who sits and waits for her lover to come. I know about the woman who sits and waits for her husband to come. I know about the woman who sits and waits for someone or something to come. I know about the woman who sits and waits, who passes the waiting on to her daughter. I know about the daughter who sits and frets, who frets about more than time misplaced. I know about the daughter longing for change, who can no longer sit and wait. I know about the daughter longing for change, who gives herself the gift of meaningful spaces. I know about the daughter longing for change, who hopes for her daughter not to sit and wait. This poem by Judith Rose is a meditation on this week's Parsha, Pinchas. It speaks directly to the experience of a daughter, which I am, and a mother, which I am becoming. As many of you may already know, I am pregnant, so my life has changed in many ways over the last few months. Besides the obvious physical things, the content of my daydreams has shifted, and I become more and more consumed with who my daughter will be. My husband and I ask each other the typical things: whose eyes will she have? Whose temperament will she have? We receive paper test results about what she may or may not inherit from us, the good and the bad. This idea, of course, extends far beyond her physical health. What will she inherit from us? What have I inherited that I want to make sure she has? And to reiterate the question posed in the poem, what will my daughter have to wait for? This question of inheritance is prevalent in this week's Parsha, where we read about the daughters of Zelophehad. Zelophehad, a member of the tribe of Manasseh, dies in the wilderness before the census and allocation of property to be held among the tribes once they arrive in the land of Israel. Because Zelophehad had 5 unwed daughters and no sons, it became clear that their family were to be left out of land ownership entirely. These 5 very brave daughters go before Moses and the assembled manel to contest this. Moses, rightfully stumped by their plight, brings this decision to God, who says, "What Zelophehad's daughters are saying is right. You must certainly give them property as an inheritance among their father's relatives and give their father's inheritance to them." The daughters of Zelophehad are mentioned 3 different times in the Tanakh. Their names are Tirzah, Machlah, Noah, Milcah, and Hoglah. Each time they are mentioned by name, indicating their importance, and the order in which they are named shifts each time, showing that they are equal in responsibility and familial leadership. Women in the desert were expected to remain out of sight, to stay close to their tents, and to submit to the behavior expected of them. Instead, Benot Zelophehad go out, and they come forward. They consult Moses and the great assembly to present their position confidently without asking for permission from anyone. The rabbis of the Talmud call them chachamot, wise, for speaking up in the moment injustice was noticed. Darshaniot, interpreters, because their knowledge of the law was distinct. And Rahmaniot, pious or self-respecting, because they were unmarried and hadn't settled solely to escape this issue. They knew that while their male leaders favored men, that God's compassion transcends human preference, and they were right. As a result, they changed the Torah. Rabbi Silvina Chemin explains that these women call to us to take a hold of our life with our own hands, to move from the place that others have given us or that we have decided to keep because we feel immobile, and to walk even to the most holy center, to where nobody else seems to be able to go. When we believe in our capacity to shape our own history, we pay a tribute to Zelophehad's daughters. As I sit and I wait for my own daughter to arrive, I'm also reminded not to wait. That my obligation as a parent is to take action on her behalf and mine. I want her to have more, and in that want, must also recognize that I want more for myself, for us now. In empowering ourselves to approach the tent of meeting, even though its assembly still does not represent the full spectrum of who we are, we continue to strengthen the odds of our own children inheriting the environment that we so badly want for them. I marvel at how these women of the Bible, and in every generation of women that have followed, have crossed through a wilderness and possessed the strength to lead despite their circumstance. I, of course, wish this strength on my own child, and yet I still maintain hope that she won't need it. I'm saddened that we perpetually find ourselves just outside of the land of promise, hoping that whoever makes it there will get to experience its splendor. I pray that we retain the strength of Zelophehad's daughters, and that those of us in the tent of meeting offer more than just compassion to those who need change in order to receive health care or education or safety. This parsha and these 5 women give us a formula for a prayer that we each must internalize in order to offer it genuinely to a new generation of daughters. May you go out from the comfort of the established to challenge what you know in your heart is wrong. May you know that you will not have to do this on your own, and that your pursuits will become clarified when other women are near you. May you feel rooted in self-worth and confident enough to articulate it. May you become the greatest interpreter of your own destiny. May you never opt for convenience over dignity. May you detest sitting and waiting and know that you can stand and lead. And finally, may you know that you can always write yourself into the Torah if you find that you have been omitted. Can you hear Ratzon? Born with the moon in Cancer, choose her name as she will answer to. Call her green, and the winters cannot fade her. Call her green for the children who've made her little green. Be a gypsy dancer, just a little green, like the color when the spring is born. to school tomorrow. Just a little green, like the nights when the northern lights perform. There'll be icicles and birthday clothes, and sometimes there'll be sorrow. Child with a child pretending, weary of lies you are sending home. So you sign all the papers in the family name. You're sad and you're sorry, but you're not ashamed. Little green, have a happy ending. Just a little green, like the color when the spring is born. There'll be crocuses to bring to school tomorrow. Just a little green, like the nights when the northern lights perform. There'll be icicles and birthday clothes, and sometimes there'll be sorrow.